welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I get your story titled, Has Anyone Divorced Years After the Affair? And a shout out to Chris for sending this story. And guys, this story is about a guy who ultimately handles things just right after coming to the conclusion there's no way he can stay married to a cheater. You're going to see that this is split up into two parts, not two videos, just two parts here in this video, of the guy reaching out to Reddit for advice because he is just lost. This guy is 38 years old, married 13 years, 2 kids, and 5 years ago, his wife, wait for it, had an affair with a coworker. Talk about a cliche. And for 6 months that went on. He found out, and the only reason he stayed is because of the kids, the little kids. And obviously he's realizing it was a big mistake. And of course his wife begged and pleaded and cried in the waterworks and all that. Well, guess what? He's been unhappy ever since. He can't trust her. Certainly sleeping together isn't a whole lot of fun. Half the time he can't do it because you can imagine why. And all sorts of other things. So he's just lost. And ultimately staying for the kids. And this is a perfect example, gentlemen, that if you're in a relationship and your girl cheats, or women, if you're watching this, all 4% of you, and your guy cheats, it's best to end it and move on. Because it's never going to be the same. And even if that person does everything they can to make it right and is even sincere about it, it's not going to change. And staying it for the kids just doesn't work because you're miserable. The kids are going to see you're miserable, and these kids pick up on it. And it's best to part ways. And he's learning this the hard way. But in the end, our guy handles it right. Oh, before I get started, guys, be sure to join your fellow scumbags and sleazeballs over on the X channel. Joining me over on X, the handle's SSM channels. Really trying to grow it over there. And remember, every time you come over there and join, you are pissing off a green-haired feminist. So we want to keep pissing them off. So come join me over there, and it helps me to really market the channels and all that. So it starts off, says here, I've been a long-time poster on a different account, mainly regarding reconciliation and healing. But my wife and I share all social media, and I'm looking for a different perspective. What do you mean you share all social media? Is this after the affair, so you're keeping an eye on her, or are you just that couple that you have one account for the both of you? That's silly. Come on here. I've been waffling back and forth on what I want to do. 1 minute I'm set on divorce, and the next minute I'm convinced myself otherwise. I'll write a post, take it down, and then write again. I'm pretty much a closet disaster. My sincere apologies for the length of this email and this story, but I can include a backstory if necessary. But my wife, who is 36 right now, and I, a 38-year-old male, had now been married for 13 years. We have 2 kids, 9-year-old boy, 7-year-old girl. She had an affair, both an emotional affair and a physical affair, with a coworker about 5 years ago now. It lasted 6 months. So, 8 years into the marriage, they got married, obviously, in their 20s. She cheats. A 6-month-long affair. Guys, that's like 180 plus days of lying, deception, making shit up, sleeping with another dude. Round and round you go. That's not just a single mistake. It's awful. Well, I stayed because our kids were so young, and my wife was deeply remorseful and begged to reconcile. Was she remorseful because she truly was sorry, or because she got caught and could lose what she had? I think we know the answer to that. Well, she cut off all contact with the affair partner, left her former place of employment, and we started marriage counseling, and we've been both seeing a therapist on our own. And she's been very patient and understanding with me over the years. And I'm not just in the short term, but even now. Well, that's the least she can do amongst many other things. But 5 years he's been with her and unhappy. Now let's just see how things have been going. As far as reconciliation goes, I guess she's been as good as a betrayed partner can ask for. She's really invested in being a better person and understanding what led her to the betrayal. Given all the horror stories that many of the wayward spouses put their betrayal through, I can't complain given that this is the path I've chosen. Well, dude, no offense, but you are complaining the path you've chosen because you've been miserable. And a 6-month-long affair, I don't want her trying to figure out why she did that. Bullshit. She knows why she did that. I mean, she did it when she was 31. Probably because, hey, she's now past 30. She probably wanted to see if she still had it. and had a couple little kids and want to make sure she's still attractive and the whole attention and validation thing, I could go on and on probably why she did it, and she doesn't need to pay her fucking therapist. Bullshit. Recently, I've been commenting on this, but I've tried and tried in marriage counseling and meeting with my own therapist over the years. I've read books, been seeking support online, as aforementioned, and I've done everything I can to find both online and in person to help me recover. But I just don't feel the same about my wife. Dude, that's totally understandable. 6 months. It wasn't like it was just one time she was out, cliche girls' night, drank, hooked up with a dude, and told you immediately the next morning. There's no excuse for that, but just that would be one time, let's just say hypothetically one time, she cried to you, admitted right away. No, for 6 months she was not only hooking up, but also having an affair in terms of love and feelings and all that shit. Well, not love, but lust. Lying to you, screwing you over, whole sorts of things. Of course you're not recovering the same. I haven't since the day I found out about the affair. I haven't been honest about this with my wife because I don't want to hurt her. I always reassure her and say the right things because I just don't want her to feel the pain I feel. I know it's pathetic. Yeah, smack. Dude, take care of yourself. Obviously you're doing what you think is right primarily for your kids, but you're suffering. And you shouldn't have to suffer. And certainly not for her. You see, she needs to understand there's consequences to her actions. Otherwise, it's like, hey, I'll do it again. Early on in the reconciliation process, we both were taking the correct steps and making progress, I suppose, but she was overwhelmed with guilt. As time went on, I just kept having a hard time with the affair. I continued to try and express my true feelings to my wife, but she started to break down and sometimes shut down, have these emotional panic attacks, sob, apologize, and then sob again. It just became too much, so I kind of just stopped expressing my hurt a few years back. What a selfish little asshole. So every time he wants to let things out, she can't take it, so she starts bawling her eyes out in the drama, so she's got to the point that he can't talk about these things, making it about her. Oh, poor me. I actually felt guilty continually talking about my pain, and I guess just naively thought feelings would come back and eventually all would be great again. I'm sorry, brother, it doesn't work that way. You can't have a relationship without trust, and you're never going to trust her again, and right here. Much of what I kept reading and hearing was just to give it time. But there's no promise any joy or normalcy will return. And now I'm reaching the point where I finally realize it never will. It's not, man. I'm telling you right now. I'm sorry you're going through this. You didn't deserve this. But also, she doesn't deserve this second chance. I cannot look at her the same. I cannot hold her or kiss her the same way. It just hurts my soul. Everything feels strained and ruined. These feelings were strong when I learned of the affair, and it slightly faded as we threw ourselves into our very young kids at the time. Some hysterical bonding occurred, of course, but recently, in the past couple of years, my pain and anguish have grown back stronger and stronger. I went through such a long period of self-hate, of blaming myself, losing all self-confidence. Depression grew and grew. And thinking about it, I suppose not much really has changed. I'm still in the headspace of a lot of the time. Man, this poor guy. I mean, yes, he chose to stay with her and everything, and that's on him, and he thought he was doing the right thing for the family, or mainly the kids. But look at how he's been suffering. Nobody should go through this. And the thing is, she's not dumb. She knows he's unhappy. Women pick up on these social cues and things you say and don't say and body language and tone of voice much better than guys do. She knows he's suffering. She knows he's miserable. She doesn't care. As long as he's there and can put on the show for the public, he keeps paying the bills and taking care of the kids. Her action shows he doesn't care. But I was continually told that the faults and problems were my wife's and not my own because she's the broken one. Well, she is the broken one, but she's broken and broke you. Well, you could tell me that 10 million times, and it's not going to make me feel any less miserable. She chose him and only came back to me after getting caught. Ding, ding, ding. Right there. And I might add, probably he didn't want her. That is what runs through my head constantly, regardless of what she says. My therapist insists I'm doing all the right things, but I just feel that my path to happiness might mean divorcing my wife and moving on. Right there. He just said that. What I feel. His gut. Your gut is your truth. It's your superpower. It's the force, whatever you want to call it. He knows what's going to make him happy. getting this 1,000-pound weight off his shoulders called his bitch-ass cheating wife. And that's what she is. And don't listen to the therapist. The therapist wants to all make you get back together and stay together and all that. I fully understand that she chose to be with me now, but I will never know, or will I ever know, her true motivations for that. Nope, you're never going to find out, dude. She could be lying to me and staying so to not hurt me further, maybe just to keep our family together. Maybe she still privately longs for this other man, and she could be telling the truth. It kills me to not know. Well, you're never going to get the truth out of her. I'm sure you got just the bare minimum in this whole situation. And the likelihood is that you guys got married really young, I'm guessing probably early to mid-20s, had kids, all that. She probably panicked when she turned 30. Am I beautiful anymore? Do men want me still? What happened to my youth? That type of shit. Not that it's an excuse. Did that for the attention and validation to make herself feel better. And didn't care about hurting you. And now she's with you because she doesn't want to be divorced and a single mom and alone, look stupid. Yeah. You can't trust her. And these questions you can't have to have a healthy relationship. I love my wife, but she hurt me deeply and so painfully. It just festers so often. I want to be happy, but I want her to be happy too. The hell with her. If you want her to be happy so your kids are happy, okay. But you got to take care of you. A while back, she asked if I'll ever treat her the way I used to. And I tiptoed around my answer, lying again to protect her and the same pain that she caused me. But I'm being 100% honest with myself and with my wife. The answer to that question is an undoubtedly no. I won't ever treat her the same way again, because she's not the same person to me any longer. That's not fair to either one of us, right? Well, it's just a bad situation. And look how you treated her before and how she treated you by having an affair. So if that means you're not doing the same things you used to do, and now obviously she's on eggshells because you might leave, well, that kind of puts the leverage. You have the leverage, but then again, that's just no way to live. Not in this. Intimacy has never been the same. It takes everything in me to not constantly imagine her with the other man, the things she did and said, and sounds like she made things maybe she did for him, but not for me. Conversations they had, things that she said about me, etc. It's horribly haunting. See? Every time they hook up, even they kiss, he's picturing that other dude. I also lose my erection at times, which is so incredibly embarrassing. This in turn just sends me back into the mental gymnastics, as I'm sure her affair partner never had issues. Another way he was better than me that probably kept her longing for him. So he can't even get up half the time because he's so appalled by this whole thing. Who can blame him? And I'm sure the affair partner certainly had no problem getting it up because he was probably turned on by banging a married woman because he's a scumbag. He was probably so hard that fucking midgets could do pull-ups on that thing, you know? But this guy can't do it because he's turned off. He says, man, everything I read insisted therapy would help with all this, but it never has. I keep thinking I can just continue to the facade and let her believe I'm fine, which I really can't do this. It's not fair to anyone. I have to face reality. Time isn't making things better. It's only getting worse. Right, dude? You got to take care of you. You're a strong dad for your kids, but as for her, hell with her. I thought I was doing the right thing by staying, by trying to work through these things, but I realize now I'm throwing away so much of my own soul and damaging my kids/wife's happiness along the way. I can't be the person that I used to be around my wife. I've tried for years now, and I know it's going to get worse, not better. So has anyone tried to reconcile but divorced years later? Dude, Reddit is full of stories like this, and I have countless stories that guys sent me that are not on Reddit that did the same thing. Was it the right move? Are you happier now? How did the kids handle it? You know how many kids out there have written into me and said, I was a kid, my parents were having troubles, and they stayed together when they should have split up, and we were miserable? I'm just scared either way. I hardly get a full night's sleep since her affair. I can probably count them all on one hand in the past few years. I just cannot find peace. I'm losing myself piece by piece, and I need help. I need a release. It just always hurts, but I'm also so afraid of ending my marriage, so I just grin and bear it all day. No, you can't do this anymore, man. My wife has put in a ton of work to remedy this and fix what's broken in her, but she's the one who destroyed me. Why am I enduring this to protect her? There's a good question. I don't know. I'm just so scared of what divorce will do to all of us. Naturally, it's my kids' futures that has me constantly second-guessing everything. I just need to hear that we'll be okay. Would prefer to hear from people reconciling or have been had failed reconciliations, but any advice is welcome. Thanks in advance. So the whole comment section, of course, is telling him, dude, it's over. Don't let yourself suffer anymore. You've tried, blah, 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 in varying degrees. And I say the same thing. You know, it's never going to go away, ever. You're miserable, okay? You tried primarily for the children, and you're going to see in this next update, guys, that the kids pick up on this. You know, it's just a bad situation. Life is too short. This guy's 38. He's prime, really, just began a few years ago, to be honest with you, while her prime is gone bye-bye. And she wanted to know what it was like to be single 5 years ago. Well, now she has her chance. And he doesn't have to be malicious about this. He just cannot do this. Why spend the rest of his life miserable, depressed all the time, not being able to sleep, not being able to trust her, always sleeping with one eye open, not getting any because he's so turned off by her? I can go on and on. Life is short. And a lot of you guys watching this were probably in marriages just like that, and you did what he did and eventually got out. And your life was so much better. Well, on to our update. Or guess what? His life's about to get a lot better. Now, this update that he did was about a month after he posted the first thing I just read here. So he says, 1 month later, I almost feel guilty posting this. The first days of this week have been very painful. So many tears, very hard conversations, trying to explain to the kids. It takes every ounce of energy out that I have not to comfort my wife and tell her everything's going to be okay. But doing so would only hurt both of us far worse in the long run, and I know that now. He goes on here about the affair that she had, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to read that part. He said, the four of us, we have 2 kids, were in the living room playing with the kids, and our daughter was studying me while I sat on the couch. My daughter turned to my wife and asked, how come Daddy is sad all the time? See? The kids notice this shit. Hearing that snapped me into reality. If my 7-year-old noticed, well, I had to leave the room, but later that night we had the talk. Anyway, my wife knew what was coming given my seriousness. She immediately broke down before I hardly said a word and started begging me not to divorce her. Here we go with the fucking waterworks. This is what she's been doing every time he starts to talk about how he feels and shit like that. Then he's like, fine, shut the fuck up, can't take it anymore, and another day in this miserable marriage. Well, not this time. I honestly don't believe it's manipulation. Smack! Brother, you have to... You have to anticipate all these things at this point, and I do think it's manipulation. I don't. She's been devastated by her own actions, and guilt has overwhelmed her at times. She hates herself at times, apologizes so regularly for her affair, but regardless, I shut her down immediately this time and told her to stop. Now, she doesn't get to sob her way out of this conversation this time. Good for you, man. Good for you. And I call BS. That the tears every time he wants to open up about things is a manipulation. That's how she's dragged this out so long. I said, I need to say what I need to say, and she needs to hear me out. Not just listen, but hear me. She was a bit shocked by how firm I was, but sat back down and listened as I basically just read verbatim my last post on Reddit. Notice how after he laid down the law with her, not in a nasty manner, but in a stern, serious manner, all of a sudden, whoop, tears are gone. She sat back on the couch and listened. Imagine that. To my wife's credit, she did not interrupt me. Well, that's a fucking miracle. She didn't try to interject at all. She just listened to everything. She cried the entire time. Okay, my bad. But she listened, and this time she heard me. She asked if I wanted a divorce, and I said that I was fairly certain that I do. But that we should try a separation for a while so I can get my head on straight. It was awful. Just constant crying, sometimes just her, sometimes both of us, but she agreed to stay at her parents' house for a while, since it's just minutes where she works, and I'd stay home. Well, I'll give her that. That's good. Don't take the kids away or anything like that. Since it's summertime, it'll be much easier with the kids, and they'll just spend some more time with Grandma and Grandpa, I guess. This started 2 nights ago. Oh, okay, maybe they are going to Grandma. They should need to be in their own freaking home here. The kids don't understand, but accept that Mom is at Grandma and Grandpa's for a while. My wife started to bombard me with texts and how much she loves me, and always has, very emotional texts, but as hard as it is, I again insisted on minimal contact aside from the kids because I need this. And since then, she's been silent, but it's only been a day. Yeah, it's making her cry. And I guarantee you, once 24 hours goes by, kaboom, with the texts and emails and smoke signals and any other forms of communication. We're going to split time with the kids each week, no dating anyone else of any sort, and we schedule a check-in every Sunday night when we plan to exchange the kids to see where we're at with things. I also met with a lawyer. Good job, dude. And aside from the house, everything is incredibly straightforward as it seems. Unless she contests, custody and assets will go 50-50 given how much we earn. We both have stable jobs and I can make everything work. So I'm going to wait for a while and see how I adjust, but I'll say this, for the first time since finding out about her affair, I feel free. Hear that? 1,000-pound weight off his shoulders. He didn't want this, but now he's feeling so much better. And by the way, notice he said 50-50 of custody and assets and all that shit. She cheated 5 years ago, 6-month affair, broke the marriage. She's the one that broke the marriage. And still 50-50. What a steaming pile of crap. But at this point, I've heard this too many times. It's a fucking disgrace. And people wonder why more men are backing away and not getting married. I felt like I've been in a prison of despair for so long, constantly at odds with this haunting cloud of misery and hopelessness in the day-to-day, and lonely and quiet as the house has been. I feel a peace that I can't explain. I slept through the night last night for the first time in so long. I woke up with the energy for a change, and I feel alive. I actually feel a tiny morsel of hope now. That's great, man. He's getting sleep. He's feeling better. The house is quiet. Good. And the thing is, even though she's going to get half, this is like back to the Eddie Murphy stand-up comedy from 40 years ago. Half! You people that are 40 plus years old know what I'm talking about here. Eddie Murphy, the stand-up is called Raw. Check that out. I think it's Raw or it's Delirious. It's one of the two comedies. Even if he takes the hit and only gets half, still, he's going to feel free as a bird. And he can start over and he's going to be okay. But I got to wonder if she's going to remain remorseful and amicable or the fucking claws of Harpy is going to come out. Well, it hurts a lot, but her affair shattered me, and I'm ashamed that it's taken me 5 years to finally follow through on what my heart has been telling me for so long. I feel empowered and guilty at the same time. Empowered because the chains of her affair aren't holding me down any longer, but guilty because I had to hurt her to achieve it. And I waited for so long to listen to myself. Dude, you gave her 5 years. 5 long years of suffering. And I might add, does anybody else know about this? Or has it been kept quiet? Control the narrative, my man. My God, you better control the narrative and tell everybody before they hear her version of the story. It's only been a couple of days, but I won't allow any more of my soul to dissolve away. A sincere thanks to all who have helped me get on this path. Alone, I might not have had the courage to do it. Best wishes to all of you who have experienced the same awful fate of infidelity. But if I can somehow overcome this after 5 years, so can you. Well, that is a happy... If you can call it a happy ending. I mean, this guy still goes through the divorce, and I ain't going to be pretty. I don't care how amicable he and she want us to be and how, guilty she's feeling. That could change like that. But let's all hope for this poor bastard. So anyhow, it ended on the higher note, and he's done with her. See, he should have done that all along. But I guess for him, he had to suffer enough to wake up to reality, which usually happens to most guys. So guys, what is the lesson of the story? If there's cheating going on, time to end it. If you do this, it's very likely in varying degrees, that's what you're going to go through. I'm sure when she was hooking up, it wasn't hard for her to get wet and perform and all that. Hell, she was probably thinking of the other dude. I don't know. But the point is for him, not that he wanted to do it. He wanted to get some ass because he's a man. But half the time he's thinking about the other guy. He can't even get hard. And who can blame him, And not sleep and be depressed all the time. And I think what did it was his daughter. Why is daddy sad all the time? Kids notice this stuff, and kids notice when mom and dad it's bad and they're unhappy and all that. And eventually kids grow up in this shit. They think that's how things are. And the odds are statistically those kids will be in a marriage like that one day. And this ugly cycle continues. Now at least dad has a chance to heal and be happy. And the kids can see that, Who knows? He may get another girlfriend in years to come or wife. I hope he doesn't get remarried. And probably their mother will go back to her ways and so he'll be the stable one. But anyhow, that's the lesson there. So good for him. Better late than never. And he's still got a lot of life left to live. I wish him all the best. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.